Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Occult Think Tank. My name is Greg. In this video, I am going to give a shining example of how Christians simply make up their own version of God, crafted, as all versions are, out of their own warped mind. The first part of this shows Christians do not hear what is actually said, but what best fits their personal agenda. Just like they do not see what is actually written, but make up a version that fits with their own personal agenda. I've been making videos on how Christianity is immoral, unethical, and impossible for well over a decade. In all of those videos, there is a two-word combo I have never used. But one, Joshua Martin Pierce, focuses entirely on the word he made up or pulled straight out of his ass, poopy turds dripping off of it. I have regularly pointed out how Christianity, and more specifically the message of Jesus in the most quoted verse in the Bible, is 100% about thought crime. Thought crime, for those that are unaware, is a reference to the Orwellian nightmare of 1984. It is where your thoughts can be a crime. Well, Joshua must not have liked the thought aspect, because he changed it to fault crime. Something that, unless I'm seriously mistaken, has never been the subject of any literary work. However, I'm going to change his word of fault back to thought, with only a slight modification to the word before it when necessary for the thought to be coherent. Thought crime in Christianity. It's true, but at the end of the day, we are all our thoughts. Thoughts are designed by someone. We must see ourselves as our thoughts, because sin destroys lives and it affects two people. Although I would use the term effects, not affects, as he is trying to focus on the cause instead of the effect of sin, even though what he is saying is about destroys lives, which is the effect, the result that it has, not the cause. Just like how he gets affect and effect backwards, so does his attempt to shove Jesus into this, turn the focus to the abuser getting a pass, not the abused. Redemption for the sinner, but not for the sinned against. Notice that. It is all about him. Fuck what happens to you. Fuck what you feel. Fuck what pain he causes you. That doesn't matter to the Christian. All they care about is their own sorry, self-centered ass. And that's what they will fight vehemently to defend. The redemption of their own sorry, self-centered ass. And they want to try and act like a God that is about justice will be more interested in their sorry, self-centered ass, not those that they harmed by their actions, or if you want to use the religious term, their sin. I must admit I get a chuckle out of how Joshua seriously distorts Jewish laws in order to shoehorn in his immoral and unethical Jesus into the picture, claiming as he does God in his perfect love brought Jesus to take away sin according to Jewish laws, to which I would challenge Joshua to point out the Jewish law which human sacrifice is in accordance with. I would really love to see this, as there is no such Jewish law. In fact, this idea is in direct opposition to statements made from the God of the Bible regarding sin and forgiveness. Things like Psalms 49 verse 7, None of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give God a ransom for him. And the next verse, which I haven't mentioned before, but deserves to go along with this, as it further establishes the point. Verse 8, "For the redemption of their soul is precious, and it ceaseth forever." An interesting thing to note with the words ransom and redemption, when looked at in Hebrew, they have interchangeable meanings. Ransom means a redemptive price or bribe, while redemption has a meaning of ransom. The thing is, the only one that can redeem your own soul is not someone else doing it for you, but you doing it. Just like how we value far more what we work for than what we have given to us. One could argue that I'm giving an interpretation, but I contend what I'm pointing out is logically consistent with what is clearly visible in the text. Then there is Ezekiel 18:20 through 23. And yes, I'm going 2 verses more, as it further proves my point. Ezekiel 18:20. "The soul that sinneth, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him." Verse 21. "But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die." Verse 22. "All his transgressions that he hath committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him. In his righteousness that he hath done, he shall live." Verse 23. "Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die, saith the Lord God, and not that he should return from his ways and live?" The point is that you must redeem yourself, not expect someone else to do it for you. Because if you harm someone else, what good does it do them for someone thousands of years ago to have paid the price for your actions, while the person you hurt must live with the hurt you caused? You get a pass on responsibility, while they don't get a pass on suffering that you caused. This is why it is so offensive to say, as Joshua does, sacrificing the son is and will forever be the most sacrificial thing a person can do. It's even more harder than sacrificing oneself, because it's giving the future to a person. It's eliminating heritage. So Jesus eliminated the heritage, huh? So Jesus tore down buildings, historical parks, biodiversity, museums, even before they existed. Jesus eliminated them. Oral history, language, yet here I am using something Jesus eliminated. How magical of me. So Joshua, I guess you are saying that heritage is bad, or maybe of the devil? But wait, that includes Christian heritage, along with cultural traditions. Say bye-bye to Black History Month. Clearly Joshua didn't put much thought into what eliminating heritage would mean. But I don't think he put much thought into any of this, to be totally honest. But I don't want to skip over. It's even more harder, because there is no such thing as more harder. Something is only harder. Plus, the gem of sacrificing the son is and will forever be the most sacrificial thing a person can do. Hold the sacrificing phone. Joshua just said God is a person, not a deity. So the God of the Bible has just been reduced to a person by Joshua. And sacrificing someone is the most sacrificial thing you can do. I guess he just loves his sacrifices. Then he claims something, but makes sure to use a word that ensures we know he made this all up. Jesus is essence, gave himself for us, and shares his authority and power with common men forever. I would ask for book, chapter, and verse supporting this wild-ass idea, but he made sure to have is essence, even though it should be in essence, meaning Joshua made this whole thing up. Because when you say, in essence, he's saying this, he's actually not saying that. When you have to put, in essence, it's this. It's not that at all. Just like lemon scented. Scented? Yeah, no fucking lemon. In essence, it's not fucking there. And don't you love how he makes sure his grammar is right with commas? But those damn apostrophes are of the devil. That's why he ignores them. You know, the devil is in those damn details again. Joshua, it's gets an apostrophe because it is a contraction, not a plural of it. Like there are multiple it. Oh crap, that means we have multiple Pennywise. Despite what Joshua thinks, what he is talking about here is not so beautiful or undeniable love, maybe undeniably stupid, but Jesus wasn't the Son of God, as God is not a man or son of a man, Numbers 23:19, and there is no such thing as God's sperm to fertilize a female egg. Because Joshua, in order for God to impregnate a human female, number one, that means Mary cheated on Joseph with God. So much for adultery being a sin, as Christianity just made God an adulterer. But since God is not of the bloodline of David, Jesus can't be the Messiah or Christ, because he has God DNA in him. Although I bet scientists would love to get their hands on some of that God DNA. But then we get to yet another gem of stupidity. As soon as I saw this, I knew I had to make a video. God is eternal, which means future sins people commit are acknowledged by him. Future sins, you may be wondering? Where the fuck is that written? It's not. Joshua got this from the same place Christians like to pull a lot of the crap that they spew. From nowhere. Yep. Like so many Christians I show comments of, Joshua is simply making shit up when the Bible has nothing in it that supports his stupid ideas. Then he claims Jesus did too much for me to express. Okay, no need to express it. Only prove that it was done by Jesus and not, oh, I don't know, maybe Satan? Shit. I could even say prove it wasn't done by those invisible, magical, flying ass monkeys. Oh, what? You don't believe in the invisible, magical, flying ass monkeys? Okay, Joshua, using Christian logic, prove invisible, magical, flying ass monkeys don't exist. They're invisible, remember? And they're magical. And they're flying. So prove they don't exist if you don't believe in them. But if you want to claim and credit Jesus with these so many things, then you're denying the power of the invisible, magical, flying ass monkeys. Then we have this absolute gem from someone that everything he claims is pulled directly out of his ass. Perhaps along with those invisible, magical, flying ass monkeys. You need to understand Jewish law and the purpose of sin offerings, and why and how they are presented. Notice, Joshua only cares about sin offerings in Judaism. But how many offerings are there? Excluding sin offerings, as he mentioned that one, there are 11 that I found. There could be more, as offering appears 724 times in 504 verses. Number 1, burnt offerings. Number 2, drink offerings. Number 3, wave offerings. Number 4, heave offerings. Number 5, meat offerings. Number 6, Lord's offerings. Number 7, peace offerings. Number 8, trespass offerings. Number 9, people's offerings. Number 10, free will offerings. And number 11, guilt offerings. And since I am not Jewish, I did a little bit of research and came across the Jewish Virtual Library, where it lists sin offerings. And forgive me to any Jew who might be listening at me butchering pronunciations, but Chatat is the sin offering. A sin offering is an offering to atone for and purge a sin. It's an expression of sorrow for the error and a desire to be reconciled with God. The Hebrew term for this type of offering is chatat, from the word chat, meaning missing the mark. A chatat could only be offered for unintentional sins committed through carelessness, not for intentional malicious sins. The size of the offering varied according to the nature of the sin and the financial means of the sinner. Some of the chatat are individual and some are communal. Communal offerings represent the interdependence of the community and the fact that we are all responsible for each other's sins. A special chatat could not be eaten, but for the most part, for the average person's personal sin, the chatat was eaten by the Kohanim. Again, any Jew that might be listening to this, if I butchered pronunciations, I'm sorry. Feel free to laugh at me in the comment section and correct me if you can. The big thing I notice in there is no mention of any sin offering being able to be offered in advance, because that very notion makes no fucking sense. The way I had heard Jewish rabbis explain the sin offering, it is akin to a husband going out with the guys and being out a little bit later than he had intended, and on his way home he knows his wife is going to be mad at him, so he picks up some flowers as an I'm sorry or a peace offering, something to smooth things over. Not that the offering itself will do it, but that it would come with an apology and a promise to change the behavior and not do the thing that they did. All the sin offering was equates to trying to appease like a wife's anger. The problem with, especially with Christianity and the Jesus figure, number one, it's not saying you have to be remorseful at all. Number two, it would be like saying to your wife, here is a gift for the affair I'm going to have. Or here is a gift for the beating I'm going to give you. This is like trying to apologize before you do something. Not only would your gift not soothe things over, most women would beat you to death with whatever you're trying to offer them for what you're planning on doing. The fact that you're trying to give them a gift for something you know is wrong, but you haven't even done it yet, and you think you can offer a gift, an apology, before you fucking do it. That is what Jesus is. That is why it is an offense. It is not something that is love. It is something that is a slap in the face to the person that you're trying to apologize to. And Joshua, do you really think it's wise, if you believe the God of the Bible exists, do you think it's wise to slap it in the face with your Jesus? I ventured to bet if the God of the Bible would exist and you try shoving Jesus in to pay for your bullshit, the God of the Bible would beat you to death with Jesus. Probably grabbing him by the feet and just pounding you over the head with Jesus. It is the dumbest thing in the world. The idea that Joshua is some kind of fucking expert on Jewish law or Jewish ideas, yet doesn't grasp why Jews reject Jesus, I find laughably absurd. To say I need to look at the belief systems of the prophets, why? Wasn't the Bible divinely inspired? Belief systems of people I don't give a flying fuck about? As that doesn't get me anywhere in relation to if a God exists. While the interventions of God require evidence, proof that it was God that intervened, and not those invisible magical flying ass monkeys again. For meaning of God, the concept of God must be fully defined first, not leaving it vague and open to additional bullshit as our understanding increases. If God is nature, then it has fuck all to do with the universe, as the forces that operate cosmically are vastly different than those on this planet. Just like how it appears the laws of physics break down when you look at things on the quantum level. A meaning of God would have to fully cover all of these areas, but the problem is, no Christian has the intellect necessary to cover all possible aspects. So this last is just a weak-ass attempt to try and get me to leave him alone to his fantasy bullshit. Well, you came to my video and presented me with these stupid ideas. Don't try hiding behind this fantasy bullshit of yours. Feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Talk to you later, people.